Good evening, I'm C2C Nick Young, and I'm here to talk to you today about the Best Buy ethics case, discussing the board member, one of the employees, and the top level manager in the case. And I'll try to use those three terms as I discuss these people. By the way, I'm in Captain Griffin's Management 341 class. Read the questions to you that I'm going to be addressing, and then I'm going to address them in that order. Um, First question being, did Best Buy's board act correctly? Should they have acted sooner or later or not at all? Should Mr. Dunn have resigned or fought for his job? That was the second question. Question 3, why did Mr. Schultz resign? Should he have? Question 4, if you have a shareholder in Best Buy, do you have faith in the board of directors who are supposed to represent you? Question 5, how does this case relate to the DoD and your future as an Air Force officer? Question 6, is Best Buy ethics code correct or too stringent? Question 7, how do you feel about Mr. Dunn and Mr. Schultz's severance package? Was it fair? So, what I have here in front of me are notes from my Management 345 class, otherwise known as Human Managerial Skills, and also my Behavioral Science 310 class, known as Leadership Development. So, what I'll start with is the culture of a company. And that goes into the first question about Best Buy's board acting correctly. So what Best Buy has created for themselves over the years is something called a societal culture. Now this societal culture can be taken for granted, and it is derived from the society, and it's based on how to perceive, think, feel, and act. Societal culture indirectly impacts organizational culture, employees, language, and customs. Now, what we have here in this case is a culture that was being damaged, that was known for upholding its reputation of being a culture of truth, honesty, integrity, and a place where employees felt free to do their job without being prohibited or distracted in any manner otherwise. In this case, Mr. Dunn stepped in and began to cross the line, flirting a little too much with one of the employees, which gave her the freedom to feel like that she maybe was a little bit above the law, which also put her supervisor in a position to where he couldn't necessarily supervise her because the top level manager was having a personal relationship with her. So, yes, I do feel that the board did act correct. Should they have acted sooner or later? I feel like they acted as soon as they found out of information. And this leads into one of the other questions about why did Mr. Schultz resign, which is question 3. Mr. Schultz resigned because he was the first person to be notified of what happened. He was told by an employee, and then his thought of action was to address Mr. Dunn and let him know that he found out what he did, but he did it in an inappropriate way by revealing the employees' names and telling them that he could have acted better. And that leads into a principle that's called management by exception. When management by exception is taken into account, that's when when managers allow their employees to work within the means based on how they contribute to a company or how they can better, for lack of better words, be better employees. So going back to number 2, should Mr. Dunn have resigned or fought for his job? No, I don't believe he should have, because of the severance package that he did receive, over $6 million. Honestly, he should have been fired without receiving any type of package deal to go along with that. That's the way that I feel about it. On the behalf of Mr. Schultz, I feel as if his case was handled correctly. He should have been given an opportunity to keep his job, but that wasn't necessarily the case. But with what happened, he still came back to the company, contributes as a manager today, and I feel like he gets his contribution made that way. Now, to close out, I'll lead and say I feel like this impacts me as a Air Force officer, because at some point in time, I'm going to have enlisted people under me, and I'm going to have to realize how to treat those people and train them in the proper manner. And having an unprofessional relationship is just not acceptable as an officer. So, I'm Nick Young. That's my presentation. Thank you for your time.